let us discuss what are hydrated salt, anhydrous salt, and water of crystallization. But before going in their details, let us discuss about what are crystals. What are crystals? So crystals are basically a regular, repeatedly occurring pattern of atoms or molecule. That is called as crystals. Or you can also define crystal as an homogeneous solid. Homogeneous means same throughout. Homogeneous solid particle which is bounded by plane surfaces, arranged in symmetrical manner and having a sharp edges. You must have seen the crystals of sodium chloride, copper sulfate, glucose molecule, sugar crystals. So if you take a pinch of those substances and rub against your thumb and the finger, in your pinch we can say, you can feel something is pinching you. That's what the identification in terms of crystals we can give. So here I have given you one picture of a copper sulfate crystal. So if you observe that it has got a sharp plain edges, it is symmetrical in shape, okay, so and homogeneous throughout, that is called as crystal. Now we have a process that's called as crystallization. So we prepare a saturated solution of the salt. From that we can able to obtain the crystal. So basically it's a process of obtaining crystals. It's a basically process of obtaining crystals from its vapor or solution or molten state of matter, that is called as your crystallization. So it's a basically a process by which we can able to obtain a crystals. Then the most important term comes, that is called as water of crystallization. That is called as water of crystallization. So what do you mean by this term water of crystallization? So it is a definite or fixed number of water molecule. It is a definite or fixed number of water molecule with which one molecule of substance enters into loose chemical combination whenever the compound crystallizes out of its solution. That is called as water of crystallization. So basically it's a definite number of water molecule with which one molecule of compound enters into a loose chemical combination, that is called as your water of crystallization. So let me have a simple example here, that is copper sulfate pentahydrate. Copper sulfate pentahydrate. So copper sulfate pentahydrate, these are blue color crystals. These are blue crystals. Now if you observe here, there are 5 water molecules. There are 5 water molecules present as water of crystallization. Present as water of crystallization. Okay. So here I have shown a geometry of a copper sulfate crystal. If you observe that there are total 5 water molecules present, this is first one, this is second one, this is third one, this is fourth one. I can have this as a first, this as a second, this as a third, and this is a fourth water molecule. And if you observe that this is the fifth water molecule present here, and with sulfate radical, that is SO4 minus 2, copper will be plus 2. So this is a structure geometry of copper sulfate which contains 5 water molecules as water of crystallization. Now, as the compound possesses water of crystallization, we call those compounds as hydrated salt. So, a compounds which possess water of crystallization, compound which possesses water of crystallization are called as hydrated salt or hydrated substance. So we have few examples related to that. One, we have copper sulfate pentahydrate, it's called as blue vitriol. Then I have iron sulfate, that's called as green vitriol. It contains 7 water molecules as water crystallization. It is found to be green in color. Zinc sulfate heptahydrate. It contains 7 water molecules, water of crystallization. It is white in color. Washing soda, that is Na2CO3.10H2. It's also white in color but contains 10 water molecule as water of crystallization. So here you can have a few list of compounds which possesses water of crystallization, and the salts are called as hydrated salt, and the salts are called as hydrated salt. Now, an important point to make a note. See, it is not necessary if a compound to have crystalline shape should possess water of crystallization. It is not necessary for a compound to possess water of crystallization to have a crystalline geometry. We have certain compounds which do not possess any water of crystallization, but still they are found to be in crystalline shape. So we have an example related to that, that is sodium chloride. That is NaCl. It's crystalline in shape but do not possess water of crystallization. Then we have potassium nitrate. These two do not have any water of crystallization, but still it is crystalline in shape. Then we have glucose molecule, that is C6H12O6. It also do not have any water of crystallization, but still it is crystalline in shape. Then sugar molecule, that is C12H22O11. It also do not possess water of crystallization, but these are considered as your crystalline in shape. Now, there is another category. If compound which lacks geometrical shape are called amorphous solid. Now see, sodium chloride we call it as a crystalline solid, but there are certain compounds which lacks the geometrical pattern, those are called as amorphous solid. So we have calcium carbonate, CaCO3. It's called as limestone. It lacks the presence of geometrical shape. That's why it's called as your amorphous solid. Now, a general observation is seen whenever you heat any hydrated salt or any hydrated substance. So they tend to lose its water of crystallization. And turns into amorphous or powdered solid. Now there is a shape changes, it turns into powder, color changes. Now here you observe that copper sulfate, which is blue in color, on heating slowly it turns into white amorphous solid. So slowly it turns into white amorphous solid. Okay, so this white amorphous solid, we call it as an anhydrous solid or anhydrous substance because it has lost its water of crystallization. So we have another category of the substance that's called as anhydrous substance. So whenever any hydrated salt is heated, we have some residue is left out. So the residue which is left on heating an hydrated salt, so whenever you heat hydrated salt, it will lose its water of crystallization, and what is the solid left out, that is called as your anhydrous salt. So here I have, this is your anhydrous copper sulfate, and this is your hydrated copper sulfate. This is your hydrated copper sulfate. So you can observe hydrated copper sulfate is blue crystals and anhydrous copper sulfate is white powder. It's white powder. Okay. Now one interesting fact is seen to an anhydrous compound. That means the compound which you obtained after heating the hydrated salt, the solid which is left out. So whenever this anhydrous compound, to that when I add a water, it will regain its crystalline property like a shape and the color. Now see, originally it was whole white. I'm adding a water here. You can able to see here I'm adding a water droplet is added. So here you have anhydrous, but you observe that this is a blue color solid is being generated. This is blue solid is regenerated back, and this is your white solid. Okay, so to an anhydrous substances which is obtained by heating hydrated substance, to that when you add a water, it will regain its shape and color. Thank you for